The Reverend and the Rabbi, Faith and Eggs. Reverend Bill Crawford, Senior Pastor of Larchmont Avenue Church, and Rabbi Jeff Sirkman, Senior Rabbi of Larchmont Temple, are friends and colleagues in our community who get together regularly for breakfast and always lively discussion. Join the Reverend Bill and Rabbi Jeff at their latest meal at the Nautilus Diner. Enjoy a breakfast of faith and eggs with the Reverend and the Rabbi.
Rabbi Jeff.
Reverend Bill.
Good morning to you, my
How are
brother.
you, my friend? Good to see you.
Good.
Good to see you on this sort of gray morning. Another
Sort of
gray
gray,
morning.
yeah. April 28th, 2017. Glad to be here at the Nautilus Diner.
So lovely to be here.
Almost downtown Larchmont, Mamaroneck, kind of close to the border, but goodness, yeah. And you know what? A little a priori, a little in anticipation of our arrival. The coffee is here.
And you see, this is the kind of diner that's like home. I just leave my cup here. And it's all at the table whenever I get here. It's
Your cup's here,
unbelievable.
and your cup runneth over, my brother. Mine does. Here we go. That was a wonderful pause there as we
That
sipped.
was a beautiful
pause.
That
Yeah, the
was.
coffee, the whole
That
thing.
was.
Oh
That
my
was.
gosh!
First of all, tell me how you are.
I think I'm doing well.
Think you're doing well?
Yeah, I mean, that's a short answer. You know, the
Right,
short answer
right.
is good. I mean, there's a lengthy story of all sorts of things.
Well,
but, you know,
okay.
Good.
I have
yeah.
almost an hour, so that's no problem.
And how are you?
You know, I think I'm good. I'm good. You know what? It's you know, all the seasons are great. You sort of live the seasons, and besides a little bit of hay fever and the you know the pollen and all that stuff.
Yeah, and you
know, and I haven't.
Do we say suffer? I mean, you.
I do suffer.
That happens
I do.
with
It
you.
happens with me. My family.
I've been exempt for some reason.
You have.
I don't know why.
You have. Yeah, I wouldn't say it too loud. You know, that's
Yeah.
you don't want
Yeah.
chance. But no, it's you know, the baseball season that comes, you know, gives sort of that new, with Passover comes the season of
Here
our
we go.
liberation,
Here
and
we
we
go.
hope of our championship redemption. You know, so we always
the diamond springs eternal.
Yeah, it
Diamond
does.
as in the
It
four
does.
bases and the whole bit.
right, the eternal fields of green. Bart Giamatti
Bart
called them.
Giamatti, God
Yeah,
bless him, and
yeah.
we've referenced him here. He's
Bart's spirit
passed
is with
on.
us,
He's
yeah.
passed on to
Yeah.
the great stadium in the sky or whatever. But Bart, former president of Yale
Stadium in the sky.
University, former Yale University president, and then moved on to his dream to be
Yes, right.
commissioner of Major League
How
Baseball.
cool is that to have two jobs like that?
Truly
that
cool.
are so distinct, but
Yeah.
that and there are some people that are able to do that, like
Yeah.
that are able to like be, you know, like a success in business and then go into, like, let's say, politics and really be at the height of their game.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. Then there are some other people who aren't. You know, it all depends.
You know who has a dream of being a major sports commissioner?
No.
Hint, former national security advisor in a previous presidential administration. Hint, African American. Hint, a friend of one of the 6 girls who was killed in the Birmingham church bombing. Those are some ominous distinctions.
Tell me you.
Time's up. Condoleezza Rice.
I was thinking a man. You see how sexist I am? So wrong of me.
Yeah.
I was thinking a man.
Clean it up, and let's continue. But with regard to
Let's
Condoleezza,
continue.
she, brilliant woman, and also an impresario on the piano, but a great lover of football, and has harbored this, not so secret ambition that maybe one day, says Condoleezza, I could be NFL commissioner. Now imagine that. Yes, a woman in that position, a woman of color in that position, but that would be an example.
All right, so you could do anything else in your life. Anything else. You could have a whole, you could it could be from now or from 10 years ago or something.
Yeah.
You know, you could do any, I mean, you're not going to, it has to be within your current abilities. Like, you're not going to tell me, you'd like to play starting guard for the, for the 76ers.
Okay, well, let's say that and get that out of the way. I would love to be, NFL quarterback is one thing, but a Division I quarterback, in college.
I knew he was going to
Plus,
say that.
I would love to be a jazz pianist. I think that is a marvelous set of skills and abilities, and then you could drift into
like a Harry Connick Jr.
Something
Yeah.
exactly. Or and Billy Joel started
Joel.
out on
Billy Joel's
classical
a
piano.
wonderful
Yeah.
pianist.
How about you? In the
Yeah.
meantime, short of that, I love being a pastor. I love being a minister.
Yeah, I so love what I do. It's hard to even say because I'm able to incorporate much of the things I love into what I do.
And you wear it well. I mean, how about this guy? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, really,
You
are
talking
a
about my
wonderful
blazer,
rabbi.
my blue blazer?
I'm talking about your vocation, your calling. Let me remind you of that. You're a rabbi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
take it to heart, as you do, my friend.
And the goal
as
is
you do.
the goal. You know, for most of our the I was saying the kids, but they're not kids. But the people about to be ordained, and I teach them every year for the past 17.
At Hebrew Union College.
At Hebrew Union College, our Reformed Seminary in New York. I'm really privileged to be their guide in the 5th year. And one of the things that we teach is that there shouldn't be a bifurcated, segmented existence. You put your professional life right there, you put your family in this box, you put your friends in this box, because when you do that, you then try to, first of all, you live in a very difficult, you have to put things pull things out of pockets in order to remember which box you're in. But it also, as a rabbi, it means that you're playing a role and not being yourself. Mm-hmm. And so the goal is to be yourself. And that's what we try to teach, our young and not so young, but really our up-and-coming ordinees, just about to be ordained a week from this Sunday. But if I was able to do something beyond what I do, it's so hard. You're gonna think I'm nuts, but I would probably. It's a toss-up. I would probably. I'd want to run a deli.
Oh, that'd be great.
I want to run a deli.
Yeah,
I want to be in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
And I want to feed people.
Yeah.
And I want to schmooze with people all day and have a place where people walk in. And
that'd be great.
And of course, for me, it would be, and I'd have to combine cartoons, and so it'd be called kosher cartoons.
And you could, put them on the menu,
or
on the signboard.
Exactly. Well, that's what it would be.
Today's pastrami. And what would be the logo for that?
Well, it's a very good question. There was a deli, and I've said this, called The Deli in Great Barrington for many years, and all of the sandwiches were named after either famous cartoons or famous characters. Mm-hmm. And it was there for many years, and it was this almost dive, but it was great because it had couches. It was very Berkshire's, called The Deli. Let's see.
Faith and Locks.
Faith and Locks.
Faith
Look
and
at
Locks.
that. A shout out from Mike Charles.
There we go.
Faith and Locks. But that's a very nice idea. But I would have cartoon characters in sandwiches. So I remember Susan used to always get the Arlo Guthrie. That was her, mine was the Groucho.
So tell us about what was the Arlo Guthrie?
The Arlo Guthrie was avocado.
Maybe I should hold off. I mean, I'm thinking
I don't even remember all the stuff
there
on
could be something illicit and kind of.
No. It was a great deli, and the sandwiches were overstuffed, and it was very reasonable. And you could help yourself to some tea and have some. It was very a welcoming place. So I would just add one piece. I would add a little Bible to the deli. So I'd have some study and dialogue going on.
Torah and toast. I mean,
Look
there
at
we
this
go.
man.
There we go.
You think I need a maitre d'?
Yeah,
Boom.
I would love. I mean, really. Okay. The rabbi's going to slice that pastrami right now. Take a number. Sit down. Be quiet. Have some coffee. I want to say too that there's a shout out to a local establishment here. I think you're aware that I guess we can name a company, a restaurant on the air here, the Larchmont Tavern. The Larchmont Tavern, when you look at their list of burgers,
Yes.
they are named for special someones in the community.
Yeah, I don't know how, because
The Marty Burger, there's a shout out.
the Danahy boy, for example, which is Kevin Danahy. And
Captain
Sharon.
Burger, John Ferris has a burger named for him.
Yeah, the orthodontist, Dr. Gil, not Dr. Gil, what's his name? The orthodontist, lovely man. He gives kids braces. And
He's got a burger named for him?
not a burger, but he has a sandwich. And I don't know. I believe that you have to bid, but I think that
That's
the
it,
money.
that's it,
I
that's
think the
it.
money doesn't go. I think it goes to charity. It goes
No,
to,
that's exactly it. That's how these people got the burgers
wonderful?
named, for them as a contribution, a fundraising effort.
So if
We should
people-
do that
if
at the
people wanna
deli.
name-
How about that?
No, let's do it right here. If people want to name our breakfasts,
Yeah.
like you want to have. What is he ordering? He's ordering the Schwartz.
Yeah.
So there you go. So the Schwartz family can donate $1,000 to the cause of their choice.
And we're going interfaith here. So Rabbi Jeff is ordering the Lindblom omelet. Shout out to Marge and Lance. Yeah. Hey, we're having fun here at Faith and Eggs.
Which so surprises Reverend Bill.
Yeah. No, hardly. Just wanted to affirm that, my brother. Hey, and speaking, can we shift to the news? Because here we are, April 28th,
Yes.
2017. 100 days ago, or 99 days ago.
I think it's 99, yeah.
You know, the new president, President Donald Trump, was sworn into office, and so we just want to celebrate the accomplishments. First of all, the Affordable Care Act, a new health care plan, has been. Well, that hasn't been consummated.
That hasn't been.
So let's move on.
And
then, you know, the other promise with regard to tax reform, we want to thank Congress and the president for their hard work on that.
99 days.
No, that wasn't resolved. Okay. Oh, the other thing I want to say is the wall that was built, and Mexico paid for it. Let's go to the films on that. No, that didn't happen either. Oh, okay. So what are we going to celebrate? I mean, what's up with this 100 days?
I'm going to say what number one we're going to celebrate is what you're going to order for breakfast.
Oh, it's that time. It's that time.
Yes.
Abel, drum roll, please. The rabbi would like an omelet with cucumbers, lox, and olives. Okay, you take it.
No,
okay,
I'm going to. Thank you. You're so close. I'm going to go, if I could, Abel, with a lox and cream cheese omelet. No potatoes, no toast.
Cucumbers?
No cucumbers. No. I'll take some olives if you have some olives.
All right.
That's great.
Thank you.
You know, when you say some olives here at the Nautilus, that means no less than 2 dozen.
Oh, I'm going to get a lot
That's
of
what we're
olives.
working with here.
Yeah. No, it's abundant here. It's like the Garden of Eden.
Okay. I would love to have home fries with 2 poached eggs in a cup, rye toast, buttered. Would be great. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Abel.
Great. You know,
what-
can I just observe something?
Yeah, please.
You don't often, do you order the cream cheese in the omelet?
I now and then mix it up. You know,
Yeah.
because and here's where they serve this. Again, Great Barrington is one of my favorite places in
And
the world.
now we're talking Massachusetts or Connecticut?
Talking about, no, Great Barrington is Massachusetts.
Because
It
isn't there a Barrington in Connecticut?
There's
as
a
well?
Barrington, but Great Barrington is the
That's like
cool,
the mother lode of Barrington.
It's the cool hip town.
Yeah.
In the Berkshires.
Because we're going to get calls from the mayors of both towns.
Oh,
so
no.
just
You just go over the
gotta
border
watch
in
it.
Sheffield, and you're in Great Barrington.
There you go.
It's where Eisner Camp is, where I served for 25 summers.
And of
in fact,
course-
tomorrow night I'm being honored.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that
Oh
cool?
my gosh.
Yeah.
In Barrington or Great
No, I'm
Barrington?
being honored at Westchester Forum Temple in Scarsdale.
Oh my gosh.
As to as a fundraiser and to
For the
development-
Eisner Camp?
For the Eisner Camp, and
Oh
there
my
are
gosh.
4 of us, and I think they've raised well over $500,000.
Oh my gosh, so
yeah.
are they going to have pictures of
They
little
do have
Jeffrey
pictures
Sirkman
of well, not little. I
in
wasn't
8th grade?
I wasn't a camper there.
Oh my
I
gosh.
was a young rabbi
Can we
there.
shift? We've got an insert on the TV now of Jeffrey Sirkman, camper, 3rd grade. Is that it? Is that coming up? Is that coming up?
What a cute
Okay,
boy.
look,
What
that's
a
a little
cute boy.
entree to say, give to LMC-TV. We need some resources here. Okay, next episode we're going to have a little picture of you. Okay, at camp. Okay, God bless you. So back to you on that.
Back to me.
fundraiser.
Back to
Please.
me. So
Here we go.
yeah, so it's very exciting. But Great Barrington has a place called, oh gosh, what's it called? It's right. It's,
We better know this by tonight.
Yeah, no, we're gonna know it by tomorrow night. It's not called Marty's. What is it called? Marty's? No.
Gilda's.
No. It's a one name. It's right. It's on the bend on Railroad Street. It's gonna come to me. Call
It's
it
a
in.
little cafe
It's a
or
one name.
something?
It's a cafe, breakfast, lunch place. But it has the omelet. And I'm probably 20 years ago. Susan and I were having breakfast, and I said, I'm gonna get this. And she said, oh, that sounds great. And I said, you think it'll be okay with the cream cheese? And she said, it's gonna be delicious.
Yeah.
And she was right.
Oh my God.
You see, so that
God
was
bless
where it was
Susan.
from.
God bless Susan.
Yeah.
My particular concern would be, with a lighter cheese like cream cheese.
Yes.
As opposed to a Swiss, or as opposed to a cheddar.
Yeah.
The Swiss and the cheddar hold their integrity. The cream cheese just kind of goes with the tide, and I'm
Yeah,
talking
but
about the egg yolk and the mix.
But
and
they
the whole
use
bit.
the hard cream cheese, and it melts to a degree. But so I think you're okay.
Hold it. Hard cream cheese?
Well,
What's that? I mean, what's
well,
that?
they don't use the tempty, the soft whipped.
That's kind of
there is a-
oxymoronic.
No,
that
there is
hard-
whipped cream cheese. There's
Whipped
a
cream cheese.
I just want to say, by the way, if you have any questions about dinner tonight and you want to call in, come on. We got stuff.
There we go. Look at
Can I
the-
go back to your
Hold on.
challenge though?
The challenge with regard to.
Well, to the presidency and to the first 100 days. I ask wedding couples when I meet with them in the second or third meeting. I always ask them to do there's a rating game where they rate each other, themselves and their partner, on certain key things, and one of them is learns from experience. And a sweet couple that I met with last night, who I just so looking forward to Will and Lauren's wedding, the Roth family, go Roths. they were so honest and open and being able to say, you know, I should learn better from experience, but maybe I don't, and I could grow in that area, and I try. But I was awful in learning from experience. So I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and my wife, would often call me on it and say, "You've got to be tougher on that person."
Yeah.
So here's my problem with the presidency, and I'm still trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm still trying to say, you know, I don't believe that Mr. Trump really quite has found the balance. Certainly, some of the things he's done have been surprising because unanticipated. Some of the things he's done have to me been upsetting, to some. But I don't know where he's going to go. I really don't know.
Well, hold that thought. I mean, because this is really, and it's a historic point in time. 99 days into the presidency. Tomorrow marks 100.
Yes.
You know, we've had this rubric before us in the American, political scene and country, the rubric of 100 days since FDR. FDR, there's really been nothing magical or kind of, dare I say, even constitutional.
So FDR was the one who called out and framed that.
FDR, in one of his inaugurals, talked about what he would do and set out to accomplish within the first 100 days.
Yes.
And so since that time, a rhetorical point, has kind of made it in to the American political scene. And so in every presidency since then, we've kind of marked the first 100 days. And then we've had some presidents really hit the campaign trail with some, here's that word again, rhetoric, even promises about what they would do.
In those 100 days, yes.
And so I think your point is well taken and good and gracious, and I too appreciate, give him the benefit of the doubt. However, what we heard on the campaign trail was rather pointed and bellicose and definitional in terms of what he would do on day one.
Yeah.
Here's the wall. Here's NAFTA. Here's NATO. And some chops and swipes. And now down the road, those things kind of loom in some rather distinct ways, such that your other comment, dear Rabbi, you don't know what he's going to do.
I don't know.
Is something that marks this presidency.
Yeah.
I mean, he's backed off from so many of those things, including some saber rattling, which has indicated, kind of a sense of portending to some military altercation.
Yeah.
Even as we speak, April 28th, 2017, that's what you're watching here, dear viewers. So when you watch this, with great thanks to LMC-TV, it's likely to be, into the first days of May. Yeah. What will have been noted? Last night, April 27th, President Trump had a significant interview with the Reuters news service. Yeah. We saw some of those clips this morning. He, in a really interesting way, talked about he thought the job would be easier. He thought the presidency would be easier. His previous life, as he called it, was always busy. He was always in the run. He was always in the public domain. He kind of knew and understood that, but being president, he thought would be easier. Well, oh my goodness, why and how would one, hit hard with these rather pointed points about, doing thus and so within the first 24 hours, much less the first 100 days. So yes, here's something that, by the way, every president prior, the interviews with Obama, with George Bush the Jr., with George Bush the Sr., with Bill Clinton, all kind of said the same thing. I didn't realize. They didn't say, I thought it would be easier. They didn't realize the magnitude and the fullness of it all. Yeah. And that's now before him. And so, God only knows when you say we don't know what he's going to do. We don't hear as much, do we, on April 28th as we did on March 28th about Steve Bannon. We don't, and Steve Bannon was talking about warships in the South China Sea and possible military altercation. Now we kind of hear more of Rex Tillerson, although his State Department budget has been cut by 30%. Yeah. We hear more about diplomacy, and Tillerson references China as recognizing their position, and he says ours is with them, namely to have no nukes on the Korean Peninsula. That's a lot different from a president saying that, we want the elimination of nukes in the Korean Peninsula, and we're holding China accountable to that. And if they don't take care of it, we will.
Yeah, well,
you know, he's really backed off from that.
Right.
And
So
I
we
say,
don't know.
I say
We don't
thank
know.
goodness.
Right,
Because in the same interview, just last one point.
Yeah.
What we heard last night, and again, April 28th, here we are, folks. Let's see how this flies. He said, you know, if we don't have, action with the elimination of the nukes in the Korean Peninsula. By the way, we've just sent some submarines that can let loose some Tomahawk missiles right there off the shore in South Korea.
The whole thing's a bad idea.
If we don't have that, here's the quote from our president on April 27th, and I say this with a heart that is full. It's not like we're ripping the news and kind of throwing it at you guys out there. It's to say, if we don't have action, and here's the quote, we'll have major action in response, says Donald Trump. What does that mean, please? You know, major action with warships, and the mother of all bombs being dropped. Right. Makes us think, well, could that be altercation?
Yeah, so I'm not going to go into the weeds. Reverend Bill has just tried to make it through the weeds, and he's done a great job in trying to just say, because you can get caught in there, and you can get lost in there. That's the challenge. Yeah. So I would say there was a great, in fact, in this week's Forward, the Forward is the Jewish newspaper, one of the was started in Yiddish, literally 120 years ago. They're celebrating the 120th anniversary this year. The Forward, the editor, or maybe the publisher, but I think it's the editor, is Jane Eisner, who's really a wonderful journalist. And
any relation to the camp?
No, none. Okay. No, it's very funny. But she wrote a beautiful, and she's just a fine journalist, and she wrote a beautiful editorial on something like what was it called? Experience doesn't matter or something. But it was a more of a pun metaphor, and she went through and she said, looking at the first 100 days, we're seeing a lot of things. Number one, this president is surprised by the weight of the job. Well, if you're going to be surprised by a job, or if you're not sure what the job is going to be, don't make promises that you can't keep. And so be careful. Now, all politicians, I want to say, do this. It doesn't matter if they're Democrat or Republican or Independent. It doesn't matter. Some of the things that Bernie Sanders was saying that I was so loving, I'm thinking, I don't know how he's going to do that. I hope he can do it, but I don't know how he's going to do that. So number one, just be very careful. Here we go. I'm going to tell you my two in a minute.
Great.
It's coming. Look at this.
Look how perfect.
Look at this. Look at this. You just cannot do better than the Nautilus.
There you go.
Here we go.
You're the best. You're the best. Thank you, my friend. Yes, 24 olives. Look at that.
Okay, what we have here is an ordering of olives with eggs on the side.
No, look at this. It's wonderful.
That's kind of amazing.
Wonderful.
Kind of amazing.
Just wonderful.
Well, we are indeed ready for this. I am glad to break bread with you, my brother.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
And thanks be to God for the companionship we share, the bread of life. In the middle of companionship is that word pan for bread.
For bread.
Amen.
Amen. So the second thing that Isaac said, which is really apt, is if you could pick two people to be your senior advisors as a president who have the least possible experience, Donald Trump has succeeded in doing that. And they're his family. The 1967 nepotism law, after Bobby Kennedy was appointed Attorney General, right? Remember the nepotism law? Right there. And there was a reason for that. Now, here's the irony. Bobby Kennedy being appointed Attorney General, or even Hillary Rodham Clinton being asked to even move forward health care when she was the First Lady, those are both, Bobby Kennedy and Hillary Clinton were very experienced lawyers, politicians, legalists, etc. Eisner's piece includes a moment where the president asked him to try his hand at speech writing for a moment that was in the first couple of weeks or something of the presidency, and he gave the speech to his father-in-law, and his father-in-law said, "This stinks," and he said, "I'm a real estate guy. What do you expect?" So to have two people, yes, they're your family, yes, you trust their voice, so talk to them on a regular basis and have seasoned advisors. They don't have to be, quote unquote, those slime ball politicians that we have to clean. No. Have people you trust but who have experience and who can make decisions based on a lifetime of commitment and dedication to a political process.
Can I just, when you say the tryout speech was written by Donald Trump?
There was some speech, and I don't know what it was, and I don't know the story, so I don't know the veracity of it, but she quotes a moment where supposedly, where President Trump was trying to figure out exactly what Jared Kushner's roles would be, and there was one, maybe there was an area
So Kushner wrote this.
Kushner wrote the speech, and Trump looked at it and said, "This is awful. This stinks." So, and his comeback was, "What do you expect? I'm a real estate guy.
Yeah.
That's what I do."
Yeah.
So, and there was an expletive in there that was before real estate guy.
Gosh, what a family, what a family unit. I mean, God only knows. I mean, in terms of the discourse around the family table. But you're absolutely right. What we see is, in terms of the advisors and the close-up folks, Ivanka and Jared are key. I mean, here's a State Department, director, secretary. Here's the others. Although it seems like the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mattis, is getting some credibility, and there's more, moderate and tepid over against what the president might be saying on some things. But the portfolios for daughter Ivanka and son-in-law Jared are kind of amazing. I mean, Jared is in the Middle East.
He's going to make Middle East peace.
Ivanka is in Germany.
It would be like me appointing my boys, Aaron Alexander, right? I'll throw Gabriel in there, but too, Aaron Alexander, because I'm a rabbi, they're going to solve the religious divide issues in Israel today. I'm going to send them over.
Although I must say,
and you know what? Aaron Alexander would do a far better job.
It makes me smile. And then what I would say is, we could team up with them. Reverend Dr. Julie Faye Parker, whose Hebrew is rather
great,
dynamic. And
great.
Then Mari, my daughter, and son Graham. I mean, there would be some rapprochement and some diplomacy that Mari, she's got game, could do, and Graham could provide the nutrition and be the chief of staff chef, But all this is to say, that is a distinct feature of this presidency, namely, God only knows, or what to think in terms of policy, and then who is the reliance on as we go forward. However, as we go forward, April 28th, 2017, let's take a look at the next 100 days. Insofar as reach across the aisle. I mean, even in the past week, we had this great concern about Korea, and then here is, the mother of all bombs, dropped, in Afghanistan. A war that's gone on for 16 years, not even declared a war. 16 years, what's up with that? And even this morning we hear about U.S. troops being killed in the same location where that bomb was dropped.
Yeah.
What did that do? In the meantime, going forward, even within the past 72 hours, this president invited all of the members of the U.S. Senate over to the White House for
unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
Yeah.
What does that mean and portend? Would we have heard that on the campaign trail?
Yeah.
As opposed to what we did here, which was bellicose and finger pointing, at the previous administration, as well as what he would do going forward.
To the president's credit, as a business person, because that's his experience, who wants to try to run a government, perhaps akin or in connection with, or as modeled by the business experience he's had in his life, he's learning on the job, and he is making adjustments constantly, I think, which is highly frustrating to policymakers, but sometimes could result in bridge building efforts, or real dialogue, or an openness of heart, but what are the overarching principles that are going to guide a presidency? You hope to know that, and you hope to feel that. That's the challenge for us.
Yeah,
that's
indeed,
the challenge
indeed.
for us.
Boy, speaking of bridge building, a little shift maybe.
Yeah.
We've been here on this program, noting religious leaders and work and witness, across the globe. And one of them has been Pope Francis, who today is, if I have the flight plan correct, is on his way to Egypt.
That's right.
And this is unprecedented. Never before has it happened.
Is that true? Never, no?
I believe that's correct. Oh.
I'm sure there was like a 13th century pope who like traveled through Fez.
Well,
you know.
well, but there was, let the record show, 800 years ago,
Oh, look at that.
a visit by Pope Francis's namesake. His
Really?
namesake, St. Francis of Assisi, went to Egypt 800 years ago.
Wow.
And his effort and mission, never was he a pope, but obviously recognized, his effort and mission was to bring to an end the Crusades, which didn't end but for 82 years later. So here goes this pope without his pope-mobile.
Trying to bring-
I mean,
yeah, without his
into
pope,
some
yeah.
tough territory.
Yeah.
Mind you, Christians, Coptic.
Reverend, a little more.
A little more, a little fresher.
I'm good. I'm good,
as he
Abel,
says. Okay.
So he's going without his pope mobile.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, obviously it'll be an official car, which for this pope has been kind of economy model Fiat, but nonetheless, he will be there. Christians are in a distinct minority there.
Yep.
I'm not sure of other, here you have Christian, Muslim, but I don't know about Jewish presence or other.
There's a
religions.
very small Jewish presence, yeah.
But
just the fact that he's going.
Truly.
That's the model.
Yeah.
That's the model we want. I'm just, Pope Francis, a model for all of us. Reverend Bill and I, you may have seen it. We had the opportunity to be a representation of what the bridge building is all about. We got to appear in a Passover, Easter sort of feature on Bill Ritter's Up Close, which is an ABC news program or news,
Magazine,
magazine,
maybe?
yeah. And it was quite fun, and it was lovely. Our goal, and why did we say yes to do this? Not because we want to build our resume, because neither of us are going to quit our day jobs based on this.
True.
But, because what we do here is real. And we want to model that for anybody who wants to see it. And we thought, wow, what a great chance. It's going to be seen in the tri-state area. People can see it around the country. It's going to be on the ABC archives. And it was fun. It was fun to do. The question, my hope is that people, when they saw it, they said, hey, look at those guys. They're really talking. And they're not the same. And they appreciate each other.
Yeah. I mean, and all of that is so true. And it was shorter than we expected it would be. It was a 7-minute segment.
We thought the hour special was going to be...
Yeah. What were we thinking? And it wasn't, heavy ego stuff. It was like, oh my gosh, we love talking. We were talking here at the table at the diner long before LMC-TV came along. And so
It's true.
Great thanks to Mike Charles and Lake and the friends at LMC-TV, and we've been off and running in the time since 9/11. Bill Ritter and friends at ABC kind of got wind of this and said, civil discourse, discussion between faith groups. We're really glad to have that and to feature that. And so we got this wonderful call. That's the truth and, story behind the story. And so, sure, Bill, we went down to the studio, and walking into the to the set, Bill kind of greeted us beforehand, and we were walking in. He said, well, I know you guys love an hour at the table schmoozing and having breakfast, but this won't be that. This will be a 7-minute segment.
So make your point quick.
Imagine our surprise. So we walked into, a soundbite world. And Bill Ritter, God bless him, wonderful guy. Shout out to Bill, because he may be reviewing these tapes, for our next interview on WABC.
Maybe not.
But in a soundbite world, Rabbi Jeff and Reverend Bill, we appeared, and we come from more of a variety show venue. And by the way, we're the only act on this variety show, and so the two worlds met. I think we handled it very well. We need to support and console Rabbi Jeff, because it was all too brief, and we were kind of surprised as Bill welcomed us and then thanked us for being there.
Right.
And
right.
we said,
we said, what do you mean, we're done?
Yeah.
We didn't say anything.
But it was all good, and it was again, as the rabbi notes, on the Passover Easter weekend overlap. And Bill, obviously, or not so obvious to the viewers now, but the title of that program, on which was interviewed Representative Peter King, really quite active on the House, Homeland Security
Yes.
Committee, whatever that is,
Yeah.
as well as the ABC national political correspondent. And
Yeah.
then we were the cleanup.
We were the closer, yeah.
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 And it was kind of moving
Yeah.
as he turned to us for some reflections on the world about us with our religious holidays.
Yeah. We need because of our model, and I wouldn't call it a variety show as much as this is a talk show, but not the kind of talk show that Ellen is, for example, on TV. This is a talk show where two people actually have a dialogue, where actually they listen to each other. We don't have a planned agenda. Yeah, we want to talk a little about the news. We want to see what's going on. We want to really talk about what matters to us most, and what's going on in our lives, in our spirits, in our hearts.
Yeah.
That's what. How many of us get a chance to do that? The fact that we do this on TV. Where was I? I was just someplace. Really?
Was it Camp Eisner?
No, it was Camp Eisner. It was someplace in Larchmont where a gentleman came up to me and said, I always think it's Citibank, but it may not have been Citibank. I think it was someplace else. And he said, I want you to know, and I was on the train. I love your breakfasts.
Wow.
And I said, thanks. And he said, I love to listen to you talk.
Well, yeah. That happens with me on occasion, too.
But that was just so
it's
nice.
Really very touching, really very touching. And you know what we'd like to say to all of you out there and that brother and the others who talk to us? It's like, we consider you here nearby at the table.
Part of the family, that's right.
It would be really sweet, would it not, to have, and maybe Mike and Lake could take this up, to have, one program whereby we have a live audience.
Faith and Eggs for all.
And we kind of, mix it up and schmooze. And we could even invite Bill Ritter of WABC.
Yeah.
We could have some great fun with that. But we did it, didn't we?
We did.
We were downtown at the network studios. Yeah.
They brought us in.
They brought us in.
Yeah.
They brought
It was
us in.
lovely.
We were there, my brother.
It was lovely.
Yeah.
It was
And
lovely.
we're good. I mean, you're happy with that.
Oh, it was fun. It was fun. The key is this: you don't have to be on TV. You don't have to be to actually talk. How many of us take the opportunity? And here's the challenge in these days, which is to be able to listen to things with which you disagree and respond in a way that is not denigrating or hateful, or that enables somebody else to share an opinion. That's what we want. So we want to sit. That isn't your opinion. We want to sit with difference. We want to acknowledge other people's. I was on the train yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yes. Going to teach at HSC, and I was listening to, not trying to, but right behind me, and there were two people who were talking, and one guy said, "Well, I'm not going to pull my red hat out, but," and I thought, my red hat. He's not a Red Sox fan. He's talking about Make America Great Again.
Oh, really? Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. So, but was that?
These are two guys from Pelham who thought very different things about the current presidency and what was going on, but they spoke for the whole half an hour in the train with respect for one another, a real mutual respect, with the ability to hear each other and not talk over each other. It was really what I would call active listening. And most importantly, by the end of the conversation, they were able to be friends, to agree to disagree, but to understand nobody has the answer all by themselves. It's not my way or the highway.
Well, and I think that wonderful point is reflected in the public discourse about us. I mean, do we witness that, at the national and, other levels? We could say international, but beyond. Do we talk in ways that don't demonize,
Yes.
target, paint with a wide brush, categorize, and then once doing that, slam them even harder, as in, dissenters, throw them out. We really are at a critical time. I mean, our college campuses reflect some of this, issue and concern.
Yes.
Berkeley, Middlebury College, speakers from the left and right are invited, and that's the case, and it's a wonderful situation and setting on campuses. I served as a university chaplain at
Yeah,
GW,
yeah.
and with great thanks to the students, and there at GW, it was the office was the program board, you know, with students kind of really in a decision-making mode as to, you know, invitations to the various folks across the spectrum. You know, we've had Charles Murray come to Middlebury College, and
Yeah.
he was downright vilified, a conservative, you know. We have right now, as we speak, Ann Coulter has been invited to Berkeley. And she and the police, I don't know what came down, but basically there was a decision, I think Ann was a part of it, that she would not appear, you know, formally for a presentation as scheduled. However, she noted that she would come for a visit with her supporters.
Yeah.
Why? Because the setting, the tension, the context was such that law enforcement and others, you know, anticipated, gosh, it's hard to say, but they anticipated violence and altercation at a university in the midst of, in the context of, you know, free speech. And mind you, back in the day, Berkeley was the epicenter of the free speech movement. You know, and look what has happened on both sides, you know, of the aisle and the polarities. So kudos and thanks to Bill Ritter for the invitation, for you all for watching. You know, what you see here is discourse that, quite frankly, a lot of you out there, you know, may in fact, you know, recognize and agree that, you know, you have not been in a position. For me, it took, you know, well, early on I grew up in a different neighborhood, mixed in Philadelphia. But a lot of people, as I have gone through my life, said, you know, I really have never talked to a person from another faith.
Right.
Judaism, you know, Islam, you know, Hindu. And so they see us, and we get this, people. I mean, this is what we are presented with.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys are really friends, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know, you talk, don't you? Yes, we do. What you see here on TV is how we are in real life.
Yeah.
The only difference is we happen to have a camera rolling.
Right.
But when the camera goes off, we're on the phone with
I'll tell you
each
right
other.
now, Reverend Bill doesn't stop talking when the camera goes off. I will tell you that right now. Right?
Oh,
God bless him.
Look who's talking.
God bless him.
It
That's
takes
true.
one to
It
know
does take
one
one to
big
know one.
guy.
We're both gregarious, and we love to schmooze.
Yeah, we really do. I mean, there's great affection for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so-
Mike always reminds us of that when it's time to say goodbye at the
It's
end
true.
of the show.
That's true.
But
That's true. He throws things at us. But yeah. So one of the gifts of being able to sit here is we can use about the state of the world as we can about the state of our lives, and we don't stand in judgment. And that's, you know, perhaps one of the most important things. Can you hear somebody without judging them?
Yeah.
Can you let them be who they are without trying to mold them into the person you want them to be?
You know, one real special, we have discourse about civil discourse an awful lot.
Yes.
And I would kind of suggest and invite, here's a program idea, which we always do.
Yes, we
Then
do.
we call each other on the phone, or we kind
Yeah.
of pop them up here at the breakfast table or whatever. But how about this, dear viewers and Rabbi
Yeah,
Reverend?
please.
What if we were to say, call us, email us, let Mike Charles and LMC-TV know when it is that you have, and could you commit yourself to this, talk to and with somebody whose position, whose, you know, feelings, convictions are different from yours and your experience.
Yeah.
You know, and really, we could do a talk show. How about inviting people to the diner to
Be
join
great.
us?
Be
When
great.
that has happened. I
Yep.
mean, I know, and you all know too, that out there in your families, we have divisions. I want to give a shout out to my beloved cousin Mike in Pennsylvania. He and I, and not to mention Mike, but my cousin John, you know, we are diametrically opposed on some positions. And when our families get together, it's like, oh, let's wait a while, you know, while Bill and Mike or Bill and John, you know, have their discussion. And people kind of sit almost in the studio audience to see how we will deal with this. We love each other to begin with. We love each other in the aftermath. But we're talking with each other. And you know, one of the takeaways from that for us is that we know people in similar situations. You know, our family members do. Who it's like, oh, we don't want to go there,
Right.
you know, because here are some feelings that
That's
are
right.
diametrically opposed or otherwise that have to do with, you know, dare I say, politics, even faith traditions, even stuff about us
Can
in the
you
world.
hold up the dignity of difference? That's what Jonathan Sacks, the great chief rabbi, former chief rabbi of the British Commonwealth, the dignity of difference.
Yeah.
Can you see in another?
And that's the title of his book, isn't it?
That is one of his books, yes, and
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful book, written like 10 years ago.
So not only, this invitation for you to please take on this Reverend Rabbi challenge, but also we've got a reading list. I mean, the dignity of difference would be one on that. There's the writer Daniel Yankelovich, who's talked about civil discourse and dialogue.
Yes.
It's almost like a compendium, but almost a tutorial
Yep.
on discourse and discussion, in the world about us. There are other things too, and you could, let us know about that.
Little
But-
Boober. We'll read Little Boober together. We can
Oh
do
my
that.
gosh!
We
Yeah,
can do
Martin.
that. I am now.
Martin
We
Buber.
can do I am now. That'd be great.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of Boober, thinking of things coming up. We're just on the cusp of, in Israel, celebrating the 69th birthday of the modern state of Israel.
1948.
1948.
Which also is the year of the founding of the Larchmont Temple.
It is. We share that. We share that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And Larchmont Temple's just going into its 70th year. Hopefully, big doings coming up. 70 is a big number in Judaism. All kinds of reasons, and biblically. And so we hope to have a wonderful 70th year celebration that will unfold as it all happens. Because I don't know what we're doing, but there's going to be great things happening.
There we go.
But as Israel, how does Israel celebrate? It's very curious and sort of it's almost it's an affirmation and an actualization of the difficulty, the struggle in the spirit of Israel. Israel doesn't say, "Oh, it's our anniversary. We're going to have a big party." The day before, so that means it's going to be Sunday night onto Monday, and every Jewish holiday starts in the evening. It's Erev, and it goes through the day. Will be Yom HaZikaron, which is the day of remembrance. And so, on the day of remembrance, it's a day for all the fallen, all those who have lost their lives defending the state, all those who have been killed in the name of Israel. But it's really a day when families go to cemeteries, visiting Har Herzl, the cemetery in Jerusalem, the military cemetery, where a lot of the political leaders are laid to rest and buried. But also where there is a community, a statewide ceremony. Can you imagine in America, which you can't, because Israel's a small little country, it's 10 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock, I don't know, and there's a siren for 3 minutes. The siren is in memory of all the fallen. And whatever you're doing, you stop and stand at attention. I remember being a 17 and a half, 18-year-old. I was in Israel between my high school and college years. I was a Zionist youth movement leader, so I went for a year between, they didn't call it a gap year back then, that's exactly what it was. And I didn't know my cab driver what he was doing. And so he just pulled over. And he got out. He was an Israeli, middle-aged Israeli man, and he got out and he just stood there. And there's a siren going off, and I thought, what are we, being bombed? What's happening? And it was Yom HaZikaron. It was the national remembrance. And what was pretty compelling, which I saw only in the news much later, was that there were, and this is a long time ago, this is 1976, 77. Is that true? Yeah, it is. There were Arab cab drivers and Arab cars that also got out and stood up.
No.
So everybody's lost somebody. Everybody's lost somebody, and it's a shame. It's a shame because I think we could go a long way, and I don't think it's through Jared Kushner's negotiation to bring the state of Israel with its Palestinian neighbors and its Arab neighbors into some kind of a coexistence. Because if you don't coexist, then neither of you really do exist. Most important is to be able to affirm the other, and for the other to affirm you.
If I may, I think that's a wonderful and important reflection. But if I may, dear Rabbi, as you say, can you imagine that elsewhere, even here in the United States?
Can you? Yeah.
And my answer is yes. And in fact, having experienced something like that, maybe largely because I'm the product of some World War II generation folks, and with both parents having served in the military, my mom not carrying a weapon, but an Army nurse in a combat situation, my dad in the Philippines. they came back, as many of our parents' generations did, and here was a generation that grew up under the threat, of the future existence of our country, when it came to Veterans Day, which was started initially as the Armistice Day and the recognition, the 11th day, the 11th hour. I can remember as a boy in Northeast Philly, working class community with World War II vet parents, that 11 o'clock on November 11th was a time of standstill and silence.
Wow.
And also I remember that Memorial Day, on the calendar,
It was not simply a long weekend.
Was not simply a long weekend with mattress sales at Walmart, but was rather significant. We have lost, the sense of recognition of remembrance and reverence for same. I think the nation state of Israel holds up a kind of an ominous model and point, of and for reflection of that. But I don't want to miss that moment to say in this country
we could certainly use that kind of
as my dad would always purport, and he was an officer in the American Legion Post, Charles P. McMenemy, American Legion Post 178, that gave me the Citizenship Award in 1966, and I gave my speech to this effect, with my dad looking on. The fact was his spirit looking on, because he had died a few years earlier. But the sign outside was, lest we forget. It was a call to remembrance. So, the one thing I want to note, because upcoming, oh my goodness, 1948, nationally Israel, but also 1948 for Larchmont Temple.
Larchmont Temple,
Another note on the calendar, and I would be remiss, there's a shout out to LMC-TV and the local summit, the Larchmont Mamaroneck Summit. On May 16th, and viewers out there, you're watching in anticipation of that date on the calendar, there will be, here in the morning on Tuesday, May 17th at 7:45, the summit will be hosting a panel and group discussion on immigration. The legality of immigration now, our local responses, as well as the legal situation. We'll have an awesome set of panelists that include Vanessa Merton, who's a law professor at Pace, Charlotte Gossett, who is a director with the New York Immigration Coalition, and close to home, Janet Rolone, who is a key staff person at the Community Resource Center, all of them dealing with immigration issues. I'm going to say humbly and shamelessly that yours truly will be the moderator.
That's awesome.
It will be, again, here at the Nautilus Diner on May 16th. But what I'm really happy to say, and here comes another shout out to LMC-TV, and how much do we love LMC-TV?
Love LMC-TV.
This will be recorded so that going forward you will have a chance to really look and listen and hear, the issue, the legality, as well as responses here on the local level, including, did I miss Dr. Robert Schaps, the superintendent?
No, you did,
okay.
That's right.
Dr. Schaps will be a part of this too, as a significant, the percentage of our folks in the high school and the community have come from other places, not just Latin American settings, but also Eastern Europe, Ireland. Ireland has one of the largest groups of documented immigrants in these United States of America. This is of critical concern, certainly in the midst of executive orders and responses from local authorities. And speaking of local authorities, a shout out to Mayor Norm Rosenblum, Nancy Seligson, and Larchmont Mayor Lorraine Walsh, all of whom have spoken and in most cases have issued forth procedure protocol with their chiefs of police procedure protocol on issues and matters of immigration. And so great thanks to all of the aforementioned on the panel, and they will be elected officials in the audience at that time. But a distinct community and public service with this presentation, but also thanks for LMC-TV for putting
it out
forward.
there. Yeah, that's great. No, that's great.
So we're covering a lot of stuff. You know what we didn't cover yet? Take me out to the ball game.
No, I think we talked about baseball.
Did we really? But
we
didn't
talked
talk about the
briefly.
standings,
No,
you
we
know,
talked about it
briefly.
Let me
you
just,
know.
before you leave, just to say that, Hearts and Homes of, what is it, Hearts and Homes or Homes and Hearts?
Hearts and Homes for Refugees.
For Refugees is really working diligently and trying to put forth a plan, and has, the local sort of coalition or chapter has been acknowledged and accepted to, hopefully receive a refugee family and to help them resettle.
Well, there has been one,
Right.
And the second is on the way.
Right. So we're very excited about that, and
June 11th at the Temple.
Is it true? Right. So the idea,
June 11th.
right? The idea is we can actually make a difference in the lives of a family. What a gift that is! With all of the very questionable and challenging, ICE, policies and actions when it comes to immigrants and families being broken up, the international refugee crisis remains. And so, if we can make a difference in the lives of a family in our community, we are somehow making the world a much more humane and holy place.
Well, let me help and add on, because thanks for that. And just a further note, on June 11th at Larchmont Temple, Judith Tabor, the correspondent for the New York Times, who has been preeminent in terms of immigration issue coverage, will be a speaker at the temple. And by way of and here it is, Hearts and Homes for Refugees of Larchmont Mamaroneck, which is a coalition of a number of our houses of worship. And the leadership has been really representative of all of our faith groups in those houses. The director, and shout out to her, is Jamel Wilson, who's a member of St. John's Episcopal Church. Yes, indeed, one family has been received into our community, and there is anticipation of another coming soon.
Awesome.
But, with great thanks to the workers on this and the volunteers, many of you out there listening and watching right now, and great thanks to the temple.
It takes a village.
Yeah, indeed.
It really takes
so
a village.
stay tuned for this special June 11th program, 3 p.m., as I understand it, at the Larchmont Temple.
Yes.
Really good.
Yeah. So the baseball standings, it's a long season. Let's thank God for that. 20 games in. The Sox are not looking great as far as offense. They have really good pitching. We'll see. Yes, I do wear these little socks. One of the older folks whose vision was a little diminished, asked me why I was wearing Christmas socks on my lapel. And I said, no, the rabbi does not wear Christmas socks. Those are red socks.
And I think the reality is the rabbi. This could be an essay, and I'd love to write it. The rabbi will never change his socks.
The rabbi does not change his socks. That's true. The rabbi wears the same socks every day. It's very true. It's very true. It's very true. Which is not a hygiene statement. I just want to make it clear.
Exactly.
I want to make it clear.
Well, it's a rhetorical device to engage us all the more, and that means for our viewers, we hope we've engaged you, and look forward to hearing from you in terms of that project. Talking to people with difference, the dignity of difference.
Dignity of difference. Yep. That's our next project. Yeah.
And then also we'll be with you soon. So
I see Lester Holt maybe, because I love Lester Holt inviting us on the NBC National News. I think that why not? I mean, come on.
You like Lester Holt?
I love Lester Holt. I think he's such a class act.
Have you met him? Have you ever met him?
I feel like I've met him. That's why he's a great news journalist.
He would like you. He would like you. I feel like I've met him.
He's such a sweet guy. My friend Reverend Bill.
Lester,
we're like you.
We're going to send this tape to Lester. Okay, Lester.
No, I think he has integrity and purpose. He is mission driven, and he has such humanity.
And Lester, we're anticipating an invitation from you. Bill Ritter gave us 7 minutes. We'll go back to Bill unless we hear more from you.
We're going to have to negotiate.
God bless you. God bless you.
How much
I
fun
love
is
you, man.
this? I love you, man.
Really.
Big guy.
God bless.
God bless you.
Alrighty.